Welcome back to Dead to the Co. This is Chris, the familiar voice on this highly acclaimed podcast. But today we are welcoming Ian to the show. Ian is a great friend of mine, and we've been to many Dead and Company shows together at this point. So I'll stop talking and formally hand it over for the first time to Ian. How's it going?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's
Of
good to be
course.
here. So, we had a little bit of a miscommunication for the regular programming, but we're going to make it up today and do a tier list of Grateful Dead, or we're going to do it in the context of Dead and Company songs. So, we have a tier list, kind of in the standard format, starting at S, going down A, B, C, and D, and then a whole list of songs. Um, that we're going to go through.
Right. So the miscommunication Ian's talking about is that we were planning to watch the same show and then talk about that show together, but we watched different years of the same show, like the same venue, but different years. So we ended up not being able to do that, which is, as why Ian explained, is why we're doing this tier list of Grateful Dead songs. Like you said,
Yeah, well, I didn't want to. I thought you wouldn't want to say the exact reason, but yeah, they were in Hartford, Connecticut a whole bunch of times, and we weren't clear on which year to listen to.
I just thought it was funny. So, yeah, we're gonna do the tier list. So, Ian, let's just start. Should we start with the first song on the list, Scarlet Begonias, or should we just start placing one that we're kind of more
Yeah,
confident
I thought
with
there's a way
songs?
to randomize it, but I think we let's just start at the beginning. And we'll go left to right. So yeah, starting with Scar. Do you want to rename the tiers?
No, I like. Is
I don't
that
know if we can come up.
superior? Is that like superior and then A, B, C, D? Is that what it stands for?
I sometimes people like rename with like puns or something for the
Ooh,
topic, but I
yeah.
think it might take too long to come up with that. So let's just go. I think let's just go and start.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think we're witty enough. So yeah, let's go ahead and start as you said. So Scarlet Begonias. So two things on this. The first is that I think we need to pair this up with Fire on the Mountain and place them together so that it's like Scarlet Fire that we're ranking. So if we do
uh,
that, it's gonna have a higher
okay.
score to me. If we leave it at Scarlet, that song by itself, I'm like, ah, but if it's like Scarlet Fire, it bumps it up for me. So this is a big decision we have to make.
I know. So I was gonna be the opposite. I think of the two, Scarlet is better. Um,
Interesting.
and that Fire on the Mountain might bring it down a bit. I wouldn't say maybe a full tier, but
So I think
I
the combination helps, and you think it actually brings it down the individual song's value. That's very interesting. So,
yeah.
anyways, all right, let's just rank them as they are then. So, just Scarlet Begonias. Where does that one individual song fall? For me, I'm going to say B, kind of right in the middle of the pack of Grateful Dead slash Dead and Company songs. That's my opinion. Ian, what do you think?
I would say A. I think this is one of like the classic Americana, um,
True.
sort of a love song, almost a love song, a little bit of uh playfulness with
Yeah.
uh with the woman reference. This is this is almost an S tier song for me, but I think there's gonna be other ones that might be more worthy of S. So I would say like A just for
Wow. Okay. Alrighty, Ian. We can put it in A. You had a much more eloquent case than I did. So yeah,
okay.
let's
I'll
put it
put
in
up an
A.
A.
Yeah, that was really well spoken. Okay. Stella Blue. Ian, I'm gonna let you go first on this one. I'm not as confident.
Okay, we can alternate. I think I don't know. I like the slow song. This is like a coming out of space song, a little bit of a ballad. Um, we're doing it in the context of Dead and Co, so this is a Bobby song. Um, but I feel like I have to be fair, and if I'm not fair, I'm gonna put everything too high. So I think this is like a C song for me.
Yeah, I was feeling C as well, which is why I turned it over to you first. I didn't want to be the first to kind of bring it down a bit. Yeah, I respect the song, but it's not one of my favorites. So I think C is a good place to put it. And like you said, it's going to be hard to put anything at D or C. So we have to be honest, and I would also put it at C. So the next song on the list is Sugar Magnolia. Now, for me, this is actually one of the songs that I first liked and first had heard from the Grateful Dead. I know we're doing this in the context of Dead and Company, though. It's hard to keep them separate. Um, but so it was one of the first songs I was introduced to, which is why I think I'm gonna rank it higher. I would say Sugar Magnolia is an A song.
An A.
Yes.
Um, I can see that. I think Sugar Magnolia and Scarpagan is the title aside have always been pretty similar to me
Hmm.
about this sort of like youthful, playful love. Um, but I think especially because we're doing it right, kind of almost right after each other, I think it's a little farther down than Scarlet Begonias for me.
Okay.
So I would say B, but I'm good with putting an A if you want to put it there.
Sure, we'll compromise. I gave you Scarlet as an A, so you giving me Sugar Mags as an
So
A.
we're putting Scarlet Begonias and Sugar Magnolia both A
Yeah.
tier.
So
All
we're
right,
filling up. We're filling up A tier. We might be a little top heavy given that
we're gonna have a ton in A tier, I think.
yeah.
Um, the other one. So this is the first example of a song that is one of my favorite Grateful Dead songs, but loses a little bit of the sauce when Dead and Company does it.
Oh, interesting.
I think this is like a really strong drummer's song. Um, it benefits from high tempo, but also like the acid test weirdness, bohemia that early Grateful Dead had, sort of that rawness. And as much as I love Dead and Company, this is a Dead and Company podcast that Dead Company a little too polished, a little higher age. So this is I think this is a C tier for me.
Wow. Okay. Well, couple things going on here. The first is that you are really spoken like a true poet. Like your analysis of the songs blows mine out of the water. You're giving all this history and meaning of the songs, and I'm like, yeah, it's a cool song. I first heard it then, and so wow, I'm impressed by that. But the second is that the other one I've always associated as a you song. For some reason, the other one and you are like in my head together. I
I
think.
feel so. One of my favorite. I wish I could know the date. I don't have a good
Mhm.
name for dates, and this is Grateful Dead. But there's like a and they did this a bunch of times. But there's one specific version in my mind that I think I told you about, where they sandwiched me and my uncle between
That's the one.
the two
That's
verses of the other one. One of like the earliest Grateful Dead songs that I really like live versions that I really got hooked by. So yeah, it's always been
but
a favorite of mine. But like I said,
but
more
like you said, this is Dead and Company podcast. So yeah,
yeah.
um I'm fine with putting that in C. I would have probably said B, but again, I think your take is a little more passionate than mine on that one. So we'll go with tier. So tier A so far has Scarlet Begonias and Sugar Mags, and tier C has Stella Blue and the other one. The next song is Playing in the Band. So Playing in the Band, I like that it goes around and comes back around and has kind of gives the set a little bit of a story because you're starting there and you're kind of ending there, or you go back there in the middle. And I think that's a song Bob loves, so it makes me really happy to see Bob playing that on stage when they do. So playing in the band for me, while I may have said C tier at some point in my life, I've come around to respect it and I would put in the B tier.
I can respect that. I think I have a similar opinion where this is like the most common song, I think,
Yeah.
outside of Drums in Space. I was actually looking at that list right before this. I don't remember what songs are up
Mm.
there. Presumably like Althea and Bertha are up there. This is like the Rattata of Grateful Dead and Dead and Company songs. This is a very common song, so I think it's easy to not like it as much because it's so apparent.
Right.
So I was gonna put it in C. But I think if I was truly being honest, this is a really fun song. This is a song I like in both Grateful Dead and Dead and Company. Um, so yeah, I'm good with B. We need a song in B. So
Right. Alrighty. Awesome. Ian, it's you, and I don't know if we want to skip Promised Land or not because
Promised Land, I like it. This is another song where I feel like I'm alternating. This is a song that's also one I prefer the Grateful Dead over Dead and Company, another
Mhm.
high tempo song. Um, I really like this song. This is definitely like an old style. This is old school, very old song.
Hmm.
Maybe not as hip, not as cool, but I'm inclined to go B. I think relative to what other songs we have, I think this is a C song
Okay.
for Dead and Company. No.
So Cold Rain and Snow. For me, it was one of my early favorites of Dead and Company when I first started listening to them, but I think it's a little bit overplayed now. It's at its low stock value for me at the moment. That these songs come and go in my life, like I'm sure they do in everyone's. And at some points, the songs really hit. At others, they might not be as relevant to you. But so right now, Cold Rain and Snow is kind of at in its valley for me. I'm sure it will come back up, so maybe buy stock now. But Cold Rain and Snow, I'm gonna say C for now.
See?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this is my shit. This is uh, I believe if you look it up, it's a Grateful Dead original, but it's really a folk song.
right.
Um, so it's not fully originating in the Grateful Dead, which is what I love. This is what I love the Grateful Dead. This is what I love about American music in general.
God,
I think this is a song
you're
that
killing
John
me.
loves.
This is
You
so
know John loves
true.
a song. You
Ah,
know John loves a song when he's like he's shaking a bit. His
yeah.
voice is also shaking a bit. Um, Molly Tuttle does a great version of this song where she flips the perspective from male to female, and she's the wife
All
in the
right,
story.
Ian. All right, where do you
Uh,
want to put it? Where do you want to put it?
I think this is A.
All right, just put
I
it
could keep.
there.
I had another couple minutes of material on it.
Just put it there. And if you bought stock for me when I said that it was at its low point, Ian just raised it so high. So yeah, that was so well said, and just I couldn't say it any better. Cold Rain and Snow uh can get an A. Mississippi Half Step. I'm confident with a B for this one. I think you might go higher, but I'm good with
um,
the B.
yeah, you're gonna have to talk me down from this because this is one of my favorite songs of all time. Loved it in the Grateful Dead. Uh, Wake of the Flood's probably my favorite studio album. Loved they did Grateful Dead did a version at the Baltimore Civic Center in the 70s. That's one of my favorites. At Dead and Company, just a great song all around. One of the songs that Bob and John split a little bit. John does the verse, or sorry, John does the chorus, Bob does the verse. Across the Rio Grande, how do you know? Love that. This is like, I think this is the first S tier song for me.
All right, S tier. I think that is a good take. I think we can compromise and put it at A. I understand that means we have four and A.
I was gonna say there's a couple coming up that I might not accept anything less than this, but we'll get
All right, we'll get there. I think it's your turn here for Morning Dew.
Morning Dew. I feel like this is similar to Half Step where old folks, or sorry, I guess I'll half step a little bit, but I meant Cold Rain and Snow.
Right.
Old folk song, better probably in the Grateful Dead. Um, this might go into Dead and Slow allegations a little bit. This is a song that can get drawn out. But I mean, I can't not like the old takes on the old American folk songs.
I didn't know that one about Morning Dew. Familiar of their folk history and all that, but I didn't know that Morning Dew fell into that. So that's really cool. Um, so you're gonna put it at A, you said?
Oh, sorry, I didn't even say. No, I think it's a B for well, This is hard. I'll say C. I'll go C, depending
Oh,
on what you want, B or C.
I would take B for Morning Dew. I do like
Okay.
it. I do agree that it's better Grateful Dead. Jerry's voice, I think, just adds a lot of emotion to it. But I do respect its history that you outlined, that I know now. So yeah, B works for me. All right. Not Fade Away. I'm like in my Not Fade Away era. As I mentioned, I was low on Cold Rain and Snow. I'm there with Not Fade Away. So I would put Not Fade Away in tier A. It's really fun, especially when it ends a show, you know?
I I agree. I think not Fade Away definitely for Dead and Company. It's one that like people know the spot. This is very often like a second set closer or somewhere in the second set where they know people are going to be into it.
Hmm.
They know like the show with sorry, I'm forgetting the name. Well, they've done it a couple of times where it's like a call and response from the crowd with Bob,
Right.
which is fun. They stop playing, go off stage. Everyone's yelling, "Our love won't fade away." Very fun. Um, I think I'm cool with A. I think this might be a candidate for going up to S potentially. If not, I'm good with it. I think in respect to Dead and Company,
Yeah,
compared to the Grateful Dead, this is one of the songs where I feel like this has like a very special place in Dead and Company
let's do
dynamics,
it.
maybe less so than Grateful Dead.
I
Right.
agree.
I
Def
just wanted to break the seal. I think
I think
it's a worthy of breaking the seal there.
yeah, no, that's amazing. Well said.
One more Saturday night. I don't know how I feel about this. I mean Bob. I don't even know if Bob loves it anymore. But like it's one where like everyone knows what's gonna happen. It's a Saturday show. They haven't played it yet.
That's
Um,
so
you kind
funny.
of hope that it's not the encore. You hope it's like a set closer, and then you get something different for the encore. Kind of similar to playing the band, where it's played a lot, and you've seen it probably if you've been to a couple shows and hoping for something new. Um, I'm kind of stalling because I don't know where to put it.
I would say, and this is going to be so rude to Bob because I think it would crush him to hear it, but I would say C for One More Saturday Night.
I agree. I was thinking C.
But it's funny because it is like sometimes if you get like a C song, you might be kind of like bummed or kind of like, ah, now we gotta sit through this. But this is one you get it and you're like, ah, all right, well, let's have fun. But
Yeah.
enough said on One More Saturday Night. But it's like a funny one. Me and my uncle. So I like Me and My Uncle. This is another song that I associate with you, Ian. So it's not a John, it's not a Jerry, it's not a Bob song. It's a Ian song to me. And I do like it a lot. I think the fun Western flair, whenever they do that imagery, I always like. So me and my uncle, I would put as A.
Yeah, I think for Dead and Company, this is an A. I think this is my favorite song, being honest. This is the song that got like truly got me in the Grateful Dead.
Mhm.
Um, with Skull and Roses, and then just a whole bunch of versions. Joni Mitchell did a version, John Denver. Um, I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry. The guy from Mamas and Papas also, who wrote the song, which I feel bad that the guy who wrote the song, I don't remember the name of it, John something. Um, I'm sure we'll get hate for that if anyone listens to this.
Hey,
But I'm good with A.
yeah, okay, yeah, A works. We have at least three listeners because we have three reviews. So thank you for all who have reviewed slash listened. A for me and my uncle. Alrighty, we're still trying to get Not Fade Away Company in that S tier.
John Phillips, sorry, John Phillips. I had to look it up. I knew it was John something.
Nice. And there has not been a D song yet, so that's very interesting. I wonder if we're going to get that.
I think we're too nice. I don't know if we have it in us to do a D song.
Yeah, probably not. Man smart, woman smarter. I think this is a fun one that Dead and Company appreciate and do. Like Bob nowadays, I think it fits him well. Um, I would say I would say C. I can't say.
Um, yeah, I this is one I think that is a a definitely distinct song in the Dead and Company era. Um, it always seems to come out
Right.
whenever the message is needed.
Yeah.
Um, I'm good with the song. I don't think this is a song that like if it was played the amount of like playing in the band, it'd be kind of okay. But I'm good with the
True.
song, so I forget what you said. You say I'm good with B or C.
All right, we'll go with
We'll see.
B. I agree with that.
Okay.
Maybe it's doesn't be have to be so bad as a C. And like you just said, we're probably too nice. We're probably ranking up all these songs. You are the turn to introduce this one, so I'll stop talking.
Okay. Uh, Jack Straw. This like the I think going through all this, we're kind of like unveiling like the core, at least for me, the core principles of like a good Dead and Company song. I mean, like I said before, I'm biased towards like the Americana, biased towards kind of the old sort of country landscape. I love the songs where Bob and John are sharing verses. I think this could be S for me. I think A, but if you think highly of it too, maybe S.
S for sure. Jack
Okay, yeah, that's
Jack Straw is high up on the list for me in terms of my favorite songs. So, yeah, I love the imagery of it. I love the actual song. I think the chorus compared to the verse and everything in between is they're pretty distinct from each other, but that's what makes them so cool when you mash that whole song together. I just think it's a great song. So S, I wouldn't accept any less. But yeah, Jack Straw S. Alrighty. So that's the list. Thank you for joining us today. Remember to review the pod. We'd love to hear from you. Ian, anything to say before we head out?
no. I hope you enjoyed. I'm excited to get back to reviewing shows in the future, so look out for future episodes.
Absolutely. All right. Take care.